If you clicked on this video, maybe 2024 wasn't the year you thought it would be. Maybe the promises you made in January weren't kept, or maybe the routine consumed you before you were able to change anything. The truth is that things don't always go the way we plan, but the most important thing is not what is left behind, but what you will do from now on. Now, you have a new chance. 25 could be the year that everything changes, and changes for the better. To make this possible, I'm going to share with you 7 simple habits that can turn 2025 into a totally different, even amazing year. Habits are more powerful than they seem. These are small actions that you do every day, and when they add up, they can lead to big results. Good habits help you grow, but bad habits also have power. They can take you places you don't want to be. The worst thing is that, without even realizing it, you already have these habits. They're taking you somewhere, just maybe not where you really want to be. Not controlling your habits is like driving without knowing where to go. You turn onto any street that appears without knowing exactly where you will end up. Those who live without clear habits end up lost, without direction, and this can be dangerous. If you want to change this and create the life you've always dreamed of, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We will have lots of videos on how to improve your life and help you achieve everything you deserve. Let's get started. Habit 1. Learn to observe. Observing is much more than simply paying attention. It is a practice that allows us to slow down and see the world more clearly before acting. Imagine having a remote control over your life that every now and then you hit the pause button. This short break gives you the time you need to reflect, ponder, and then respond in a more thoughtful way. This simple pause, although small, has a big impact. It can transform the way we deal with challenges and the people around us, allowing us to make more conscious decisions and more precise actions. In our daily lives, we often speak or react without really thinking about what we are doing. In a moment of pressure, we give our opinion without considering the facts, interrupt conversations on impulse, or make hasty decisions that we later realize were not the best. This behavior can not only cause us to miss out on great opportunities, but it can also put us in difficult or uncomfortable situations without the chance to turn back. When we act without thinking, we get carried away by the urgency of the moment, but this rarely leads to wise results. On the other hand, the ability to observe creates an opening for calm and self-control. Observing is an exercise in patience, and those who practice this habit have a great advantage over others. While many rush to speak, act, or impress, those who observe carefully are able to read the environment more clearly, understand people better, and even anticipate situations before they happen. Observing allows us to choose the best reaction, the best strategy, and the best way to relate, which is often more valuable than simply acting without thinking. This habit of observing does not depend on your personality type. Whether you are more introverted or extroverted, everyone can develop this skill. What really matters is making this a daily practice. Consider the story of Deborah and Mariana, 2 colleagues who started together in an accounting office with the same chances to grow and learn. Deborah, with her extroverted style, soon began sharing details of her personal life, complaining about the air conditioning and, without thinking, made a negative comment about a customer. Mariana, more observant, chose to listen more, speak less, and understand the environment before exposing herself. Over time, their choices showed different results. A few weeks later, Deborah repeated her negative comment in front of a manager and ended up being fired. Mariana, in turn, continued to be respected, recognized for the way she adapted to situations and how she carefully built her relationships. The difference between them was not in their personalities, but in the way they reacted to the first challenges. Deborah acted impulsively, while Mariana chose to act cautiously, which helped her avoid mistakes and stand out positively. In life, learning to observe is a habit that can take us much further than we imagine. It creates space for constant learning, gives us emotional control, and allows us to act with more clarity. It is in the silence of observation that we find valuable answers and learn the lessons that help us grow. When we allow ourselves to observe, before reacting, we start to make wiser decisions that are more aligned with our goals. It's this kind of wisdom that prepares us for the next level, both personally and professionally. If you start adopting this habit, You could become an unrecognizable person next year. Transformation will come through your ability to listen more than you talk, to think before acting, and to learn from situations, instead of just reacting to them. The practice of observing carefully is a powerful way to shape your life and achieve great achievements. Habit 2. Seek to understand before being understood. Communication is without a doubt one of the most valuable skills in life. It shapes our relationships, our careers, and the way we interact with the world around us. However, there is a fundamental aspect that many people neglect: listening. Zeno of Citium, the philosopher who founded Stoicism, said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We need to hear twice as much as we speak." These simple yet profound words remind us that listening is an essential skill, often underestimated, but crucial to true communication. The problem is that most of the time people are not listening to understand, but rather to respond. Often we are so concerned with formulating our response that we don't give space to what the other person is really trying to tell us. This behavior makes us reactive and self-centered, closing the door to authentic communication. When we listen, just to react, we are just playing a game of words without really connecting with what the other person feels or thinks. To change this, we need to reverse the logic. Communication begins with active and empathetic listening, which is listening with the intention of understanding, not refuting. This means paying attention not just to the words, but also to the emotions and intentions that accompany them. Listening with empathy, however, goes far beyond simply hearing the words. It requires being present with body and soul, putting aside our own thoughts and judgments to make room for others. It's as if, when listening, we are opening our heart to the other person, allowing them to express themselves without fear of being misinterpreted. This type of listening is not easy. It requires practice, patience, and above all, vulnerability. We need to be willing to let go of our defenses and allow ourselves to feel what someone else is feeling. When we can do this, we create a foundation of trust that transforms any interaction. Without this trust, any attempt at communication will be superficial and ineffective, like trying to build a house on unstable ground. Once we truly understand each other, we will be in a much stronger position to be understood. This doesn't mean we should neglect our own needs or views, but rather recognize that communication is a two-way street. When someone feels like they have been truly heard, it is natural for that person to feel more willing to listen to us too. This cycle of mutual understanding is what allows relationships to grow stronger and problems to be resolved more effectively. Instead of focusing on what we're going to say next, we can focus on what the other person is trying to express, creating a genuine and meaningful exchange. Seeking to understand before being understood is, therefore, the key to effective communication. When we change our approach and make understanding others a priority, we transform possible conflicts into learning opportunities. Relationships become deeper, tensions decrease, and we are able to resolve problems in a more harmonious way. This is not just about passive listening, but about listening with intention, about creating a space where ideas can be exchanged freely and respectfully. In this space, communication stops being a battle of egos and becomes a tool for mutual growth. And most importantly, listening is an active action. It's not something that happens by chance or automatically. It's a conscious choice to prioritize understanding the other instead of reacting immediately. When we decide to listen first, we not only strengthen our relationships, but we also gain clarity about what really matters. The simple act of listening carefully can open doors to faster and more effective solutions, helping us overcome challenges and find more productive ways to deal with life's obstacles. By choosing to listen, we create a solid foundation upon which we can build understanding, respect, and most of all, genuine connections. And if you're enjoying the content, consider becoming a member of the channel. In addition to helping the channel, you also have exclusive content. Click on the link in the description and become a member right now. Returning to the content. Habit 3. Focus on what you have influence over. Stoicism can be seen as a practical system to help us thrive, even in the most stressful environments. One of your most powerful and transformative tools is the ability to separate what we can control from what we cannot. This is a simple habit, but at the same time, It can be the most challenging to put into practice because it requires a change in the way we see and react to the world around us. If we think about most people's daily lives, we will see that around 95% of the situations we get involved in are beyond our control. That's right. We often spend our emotional energy on things we cannot change, such as the behavior of others, the decisions of our bosses, or even the problems of our friend or family member. And in doing so, we stop focusing on what we can really control, our own attitudes and reactions. This means that by focusing on what we cannot change, we are wasting time and energy on something that will not bring results, while failing to improve what is within our power. Imagine, for example, a simple situation. You have a friend who is fighting with someone else. Driven by loyalty, you end up getting involved in the fight, creating resentment against someone who, in fact, did nothing directly against you. Over time, your friend makes up with the person, and the two become great friends again. But you still carry that anger and resentment, even though the situation has already resolved itself. In this scenario, you missed the chance to relax and focus on what really matters, like your peace of mind while you got involved with a problem that wasn't yours. This happens more often than we realize. We often take other people's problems for ourselves, as if they were our own. And this happens not only with friends, but also with family, children, co-workers, and in many other aspects of our lives. The key to escaping this trap is learning to separate what is the responsibility of others and what is our responsibility. When we do this, we can gain mental and emotional clarity, making space to focus on what we can really control. Otherwise, we end up spending our energy on things that are beyond our influence, often feeling more affected by them than by our own problems. By learning to separate what we can control from what we can't, we begin to establish healthy emotional boundaries. This does not mean that we will walk away from the people we love or abandon our responsibilities. Rather, it means we understand the difference between offering genuine support and taking on responsibilities that don't belong to us. When we make this distinction, our energy becomes more focused on what is really important and what we can change. Focusing on what we can control, our actions, reactions, and behaviors, is the key to achieving concrete results and, most importantly, achieving peace of mind. This focus not only improves our efficiency and our ability to deal with challenges, but it also reduces the emotional overload that often ends up paralyzing us. By doing this, we are able to thrive amid chaos and move forward, even when circumstances are not in our control. This habit could be the key to turning 2025 into a year of achievements. Directing your energy towards what you can really influence will make all the difference in your life and completely change the way you deal with challenges. By doing this, you will realize that you are stronger, calmer, and more prepared to face any situation. If you know someone who needs this guidance, share this message. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so that more people can have access to this valuable content. This helps spread this philosophy of life to more people, creating a positive impact on the world around us. Habit 4. Have a healthy body. In ancient philosophy, there was a fascinating idea. The right to intellectual education would only be granted after reaching a certain level of physical evolution. That's because great thinkers like Socrates, Marcus, Aurelius, and Seneca knew something that we often forget today. Mind and body are deeply connected. They were not only thinkers, but also practitioners of physical activities such as walking, fighting, and exercising. They understood that the mind cannot thrive alone without the support of a well-cared-for body. As human beings, we are not just made of thoughts, but also of flesh and blood. Therefore, if you really want to transform and become an unrecognizable version of yourself, you need to learn to take care of your body, just like you take care of your mind. You've probably heard someone say, "Your body is the only one you will have in this life." This is truer than ever. Taking care of your body is not about meeting aesthetic standards or following fads. The real goal is to keep your body healthy and strong so that it can support your mind. As Seneca said, a simple walk outside or a deep breath can be enough to restore our inner peace, preventing emotional pressure from breaking us or making us lose our cool. True transformation comes not from a perfect body by today's standards, but from a body that supports a resilient and focused mind. Since the times of the Stoics, beauty standards have changed countless times. However, the idea that taking care of your body is just a matter of aesthetics is limited and reductionist. The concept of physical health is much more than appearance or a number on the scale. True beauty lies in having a body strong enough to sustain life's challenges and serve as a pillar for the mind. You are not just the body that others see or what fashion trends dictate. You are a combination of mind and body, and true strength comes from balancing both. The focus should be on what really matters, strengthening your body so that it is capable of withstanding the battles that arise in your life. A striking example of this physical and mental transformation is the story of Theodore Roosevelt, former President of the United States. In his youth, Roosevelt was physically fragile despite his great intellectual potential. Doctors said his body would never be able to keep up with his mind. But instead of accepting this limitation, Roosevelt made a life-changing decision. He decided to rebuild his body. He began a rigorous exercise regimen, seeking to improve his physical health. From then on, he became a symbol of strength and resistance, and throughout his life, he always prioritized physical and mental health, recognizing that the balance between them was essential to achieving his goals. Taking care of your body, therefore, is not a superficial choice or a search for an idealized body, but rather an intelligent and essential decision for anyone who wants to live a full and successful life. A healthy body is the necessary foundation to face life's challenges with courage and determination. It is in him that lies the strength necessary to pursue our biggest dreams and goals. Therefore, by taking care of your body, you are not only shaping your appearance, but strengthening your mind to achieve everything you want to achieve. But there is a catch. If you've been trying for a long time to get out of conformity and ignorance, and you can't do it in any way, maybe it's for other reasons that you don't know what's causing this. But I know what it is. It's anxiety. Anxiety comes like a silent snake and poisons you without you feeling it. This leaves you infected for days, months, and even years. And if you have that, it would be like living sick. However, there is an antidote from the Stoics, which together with modern psychology can free you from all this, just as it freed me. I made a video showing how you can get rid of this poison in your life. It's in the first comment. Click on the link in the first comment and cure yourself of this poison of anxiety. Habit 5. Planning. Have you ever remembered the famous scene from Alice in Wonderland, where Alice asks the Cheshire Cat which way she should go? The cat, with its peculiar wit, responds with another question. Where do you want to go? Alice, without knowing the answer, is left without direction, and the cat teaches her a simple but profound lesson. If you don't know where you're going, any path will do. This scene illustrates how many people live their lives without a clear plan, without a defined objective. They end up following any path, often without realizing that they are moving away from their true desires and purposes. And that's how the days become confusing, the weeks disorganized, and in the end, life seems to get out of control. This lack of clarity is not rare. Many of us live reactively, allowing events to lead us without direction. Sometimes this may seem harmless, but in reality, the lack of a clear plan can cause us to waste precious energy and opportunities. What actually happens is that our brain works much better when it has a clear objective in front of it. He needs to know what to expect, to act more efficiently and calmly. When we have a plan, our brain can reduce stress, as predictability gives us a feeling of control and security. A study published in one of the largest neuroscience journals showed that when we anticipate what will happen, our brain becomes less anxious and more focused. Do you know what that means? That when we know what we are doing and where we are going, we make decisions with much more clarity and confidence. In moments of unforeseen circumstances or unexpected changes, we are able to react more effectively and without panic. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, already warned us about this, saying, "If you do not know which port you are sailing to, no wind is favorable." This means that without clear planning, any action we take becomes random and purposeless. And in the end, This leads to frustration and dissatisfaction, as we do not see progress or clear results. But the good news is that you can easily change this. Planning is like drawing a map for the brain. When you organize your day in advance, you turn chaos into productivity and gain a sense of accomplishment. It is not necessary to be perfect right away, but to start simply. You can start your day by writing down the tasks you need or want to accomplish. In the early days, it is natural to make mistakes or leave something out, and this should not be seen as failure. On the contrary, it is a natural part of the learning and adaptation process. The key is to keep trying and adjusting as needed. The act of planning is actually a powerful exercise. It allows you to mentally visualize how you want your day to unfold. This prepares you to act with more purpose and helps you to be more constant, which is essential to achieving consistent results. The real magic of planning is in the repetition of the habit. When you start planning your days, it becomes easier to plan your weeks, months, and even the entire year. This doesn't mean that you need to have everything detailed in advance, but that your mind will be more prepared to organize itself and make the best use of time and energy. The most successful people are not the smartest or the most talented, but those who have learned to manage their time and energy effectively. They master the ability to plan, which makes them more productive and capable of achieving their goals. And this is something we can all learn and apply to our lives. By creating the habit of planning, you will realize that instead of getting lost in a sea of tasks and responsibilities, the path begins to become clearer and results begin to appear. Remember, what really matters is not where you are now, but where you choose to go. And it all starts with the simple but powerful habit of planning. Habit 6. Think clearly. Imagine that you have vision problems, such as myopia or astigmatism, and need glasses or contact lenses to see the world clearly. Without these accessories, everything in front of you becomes blurry. Details are lost, and the world seems like a big blur. Now, even if you have perfect vision, think about a situation where you are driving in torrential rain with your windshield wiper broken. The car's glass becomes dirty and fogged up, making it difficult to see the road. Even with the best vision, the lack of clarity in the glass creates a feeling of insecurity and uncertainty. Every move you make feels risky because without clarity, confidence disappears. This lack of visual clarity is a perfect example of how we feel when our mind is also clouded, lacking the clarity needed to act with confidence and precision. Now imagine applying this concept to the mind. When we don't have control over our emotions, our ability to think clearly is lost. What happens is that the mind becomes like a cloudy glass where we cannot see the situation with the necessary clarity. This lack of emotional control does not only appear in moments of crisis, but infiltrates the little things of everyday life. In the negative thoughts we cultivate, in the anxieties that consume us, and in the repetitive worries that hold us back. When we are in this condition, our decisions are not based on logic but on distorted emotions, and this can lead us to ill-considered choices, which later become a reason for regret. Thinking clearly is like wearing a pair of glasses for your mind. Just as glasses allow you to see the world clearly, mental clarity allows you to see facts objectively. When you don't have this clarity, your emotions begin to distort reality and control your actions. For example, imagine that you made financial planning to achieve a larger goal, such as educating yourself financially. Then a tempting promotion appears, the sneakers or bag of your dreams, at an unmissable price. If you let your emotions take over, you will want to buy impulsively without thinking about the consequences. But by thinking clearly, you can see the situation objectively and recognize that no matter how tempting the offer is, it is not part of your budget. Mental clarity helps you stay focused on your plan, preventing you from deviating from what really matters. That's what thinking clearly is, separating what you feel from what's really happening. This skill, which the Stoics valued so highly, is a daily practice of training the mind to distinguish between emotions and facts. When we can separate the two things, we have the ability to act more rationally and less impulsively. For the Stoics, this exercise in mental clarity was not just a theory, but a constant practice that brought profound benefits to daily life. By learning to separate what we feel from what is actually happening, we can make smarter decisions and act more effectively. Now, imagine another situation. You are at a family party and suddenly that provocative relative makes a comment just to irritate you. If you react in a purely emotional way, you will respond aggressively or defensively, perhaps trying to show that you cannot tolerate insults. But if you stop to think clearly, you can separate fact from emotion. The comment is nothing more than an attempt to provoke, and once you realize this, you can choose not to react impulsively. You choose not to let yourself be affected, preserving your inner peace and not giving power to an insignificant provocation. Living reacting emotionally to everything that happens around you is living at the mercy of circumstances. When we act impulsively, we rarely have time to consider the consequences of our actions, and this makes us hostage to how we feel in the moment. On the other hand, training mental clarity allows us to make more conscious decisions, improve our relationships, and create a more balanced and controlled life. Over time, you will notice that the way you deal with situations begins to change profoundly. The people around you may not even recognize you anymore. Such will be your self-control and clarity in decisions. If you want to learn how to act more clearly and transform your life, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications and leave a like. Also share in the comments how self-control has positively impacted your journey. Habit 7. Start giving thanks. Thanking and complaining are like two sides of a coin. Although they seem so different, both attitudes start from the same decision, how you choose to see the world around you. A simple but powerful choice. When you decide to complain, you are focusing on what is not good, what bothers you, and this negative energy ends up growing. It's like you're planting seeds of dissatisfaction, and what you reap are more reasons to complain. Now imagine a plantation where you only plant bean seeds. Do you hope to pick apples or pineapples? Of course. Likewise, by focusing on complaints, you end up attracting more of the same. You cultivate fertile soil for more frustrations to emerge, without realizing that it is you who fuels this cycle. Now imagine the opposite, the habit of being grateful. Even in moments when there seems to be little reason to be grateful, the simple act of being grateful works like a key. It opens a door that lets the light of gratitude enter your life, illuminating everything around you. Every time you express gratitude, such as for a small gesture or even for the opportunity to learn something new, life seems to expand. She begins to offer you more reasons to be grateful. It's as if gratitude was a filter that transforms even difficult moments into learning opportunities. You start to notice the little blessings that were there all along, but you didn't see them before because you were too focused on the negative. Imagine your life as a scale. If you put more weight on the gratitude side, the complaining part starts to seem insignificant. Over time, you will see that the more you choose to be grateful, the more you see the positive side of things, and the need to complain will decrease. This doesn't mean that the world outside changes, but you, the way you see the world, changes, and that's what really matters. By focusing on what is good and positive, you begin to transform your reality, not because circumstances change, but because you change how you react to them. These two habits, being grateful and complaining, are present in our daily lives and depend on the choices we make at all times. Both start from the same root, but bear completely different fruits. While complaining makes us feel like we're stuck in a cycle of negativity, being grateful frees us and opens us up to new possibilities. The Stoics, great philosophers of antiquity, saw gratitude as an essential virtue for the human mind and heart. Marco Aurelio, for example, begins his meditations with words of gratitude. He expresses his gratitude for his mother, for her generosity, and even for his teachers who corrected him. He was grateful even for life's difficult lessons because he knew they were fundamental to his personal growth. Gratitude was a daily exercise that helped him keep his mind focused on what really mattered. Science also has something to say about this. Complaining, as natural as it may seem, is something our brain tends to do for a reason, our survival instinct. In ancient times, our ancestors needed to be alert to threats in the environment, and focusing on negative things helped with survival. However, today, This warning mechanism often traps us, making us live in a constant state of dissatisfaction. But gratitude has the power to balance the scales. It helps us find the good, even in the most difficult situations, and gives us strength to move forward. Epictetus, one of the great Stoics, teaches us a powerful example of how gratitude can transform the way we see the world. Even though he was a slave and had his leg broken by his owner, Epictetus chose not to be defeated. He responded with words that teach us to this day, "Even if they hurt me physically, my power of choice remains intact." He did not complain about his circumstances, but used gratitude and wisdom to find his freedom, even in a situation of total oppression. Today, physical slavery is a thing of the past, but many of us still live imprisoned, not by visible chains, but by an invisible prison, the prison of the mind. The mind, when focused on complaints and negative thoughts, becomes a prison that we ourselves create. This cell has no walls or guards, but it is as real as any physical prison. And the most curious thing is that the key to getting out of this prison has always been in our hands, the choice of where to focus our attention. Gratitude is the gesture that unlocks this door. It is the key to emotional and mental freedom. By practicing gratitude, you begin to break the chains you have placed on yourself and free yourself from the cycle of dissatisfaction. Gratitude is the antidote to bitterness and frustration, and, most importantly, it is the starting point for a lighter, freer, and more purposeful life. When you choose to be grateful, even for the little things, you are opening a door to a new world of possibilities. Transforming this year into something truly unrecognizable doesn't require a miracle. What you need is just one decision. Decide to be grateful. No matter how small the reason, by doing this you will be building a solid foundation for a richer, fuller life. The key to changing your life has never been out of reach. It has always been with you, and you just need to use it. Open the door of gratitude and see what life has to offer. The time to act is now. Choose to live the best year of your life and see how unrecognizable it can be. Thanks for watching.